Thank you all for attending the first ever Orange County Volleyball Media Day here at Irvine Valley College. I'm Keith Shackleford, and I'll serve as your MC today. We're proud to introduce the programs and coaches responsible for the best volleyball in America. In just the last 2 years, the coaches you'll meet today have led their teams to an NCAA title, 2 community college state championships, an Olympic gold medal, dozens of Division I scholarships, national team players, and professional leagues around the world. It may never be more obvious than it is right now, as Orange County is the very center of the American volleyball and perhaps the entire globe's world. By bringing the high school and college coaches together with our media partners, we think this event is a major step forward in the sophistication of media relations and technology-based information for our recruits, alumni, and fans. We hope that wherever you may be watching this, it brings you up to date on the best volleyball community in the entire country. We'll hear from our college coaches in just a moment, and immediately following this filming, they'll also meet with our volleyball media to provide details on their prospects for 2009. We encourage those who follow college volleyball to visit our college's websites for schedules, rosters, results, and more. Before we begin, we'd also like to give one major thank you to our sponsors at ASICS, the nation's foremost producer of volleyball shoes, uniforms, and apparel. All of men's volleyball is grateful for their unwavering support of the sport. Without further ado, it is also my great pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker. Considered by many to be the greatest volleyball player of all time, Karch Kiraly is also the winningest player in the history of the game. When he was inducted into the Volleyball Hall of Fame in 2001, he was named the greatest men's volleyball player in the sport's first century. It began as a 4-time All-American at UCLA. Karch's career saw the Bruins compile a 124-5 record and win 3 NCAA championships in his tenure there. His number 31 jersey was retired in 1992 and hangs in the rafters at Pauley Pavilion. Kiraly is the only volleyball player in Olympic history to win 3 gold medals, having been part of the United States indoor teams in '84 and '88, and again taking the gold in beach volleyball at the '96 Atlanta Games. Later, the IVF recognized Kiraly as the finest volleyball player in the world for the last century, citing Kiraly's performance in an unprecedented string of championships, including the famed Triple Crown of volleyball, which included the gold medal at the '84 Olympics, the '85 World Cup, and the '86 World Championships. But it may be the beach where Karch's career is most remembered. Despite leading El Messaggero to 4 indoor titles over 2 years in the Italian Pro Leagues, Karch committed to a full-time schedule on the Pro Beach Volleyball Tour. During his beach career, Kiraly set records for tournament wins with 148 and prize money that may never be touched. After retiring following the 2007 season, Karch became television's voice of the game, doing color commentary on volleyball, both indoor and outdoor broadcasts for both the men and the women of America. And on top of all this, he's also coaching his son's volleyball teams at St. Margaret's High School here in Orange County. Not a bad way to use that UCLA degree in biochemistry. Ladies and gentlemen, it's with great pleasure that we welcome a legend in our sport, Mr. Karch Kiraly.
I think it was about 10 years ago I was getting introduced at an event in the San Francisco area, and the lady went through my wonderful bio there and finally finished up by saying, now, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Karch Kiraly. So I always think of myself as very lucky when I get a good introduction, and that was a wonderful one. Thank you, Shaq. And I always thought of myself even lucky at the time that it wasn't the opposite of that. But I look at the sport of volleyball in particular as a great tool to help us learn to be better at whatever we do in life. And one of the great things that we have to face on the court, especially on the volleyball court, is we get knocked down a lot. We fall short a lot. We have to bounce back from adversity and be resilient. And so we coaches talk about that all the time, but it's great training because life knocks us down too. And it's from match to match, as Coach Speraw at UC Irvine last week had a nice win and then a loss, and you have to bounce back from that. But even a microcosm of that is even more so in this game of volleyball, where we might have to play 150, 200 more plays in a given match. We get knocked down a lot of times and lose a lot of those plays too, and have to be able to drop that and move on to the next one. And so I think one of the things that I see as I guess the real challenge, and one of the things that sometimes knocks us down and we've got to get back up in men's volleyball, is probably the unintended consequences of Title IX in terms of the opportunities that are out there for men versus the numbers that there are for women. I guess an example of that was when I was on the U.S. Men's team for about 8 years, used to get a lot of fan mail, and got this one really neat letter from a kid in a boy in Wisconsin playing high school volleyball. Actually, it was in Minnesota, because Wisconsin had some boys volleyball. Minnesota at that time did not. And so he was doing a reverse Title IX thing where the only way he could play volleyball was to go out and be on the girls' volleyball team. And his real challenge, the thing he had to be a little resilient about and bounce back from, was the fact that his team had had a vote, and his team had voted to wear bun hugger shorts. And so he had this choice that he faced of, do I put myself through this kind of humiliation? Is that what I have to go through to play the sport that I love to play? I wrote him back. I didn't tell him what to do. I never heard back from him, so I still don't know whether he actually decided to go with the bun huggers. If he did, I don't know if he wanted any pictures taken during those matches. But we see a lot of that difference in terms of college volleyball. The women's side of college volleyball has its own December madness, and it's really fun for me as a television broadcaster to be a part of that. Over 330 Division I teams for the women alone from all around the country, leading to a 64-team tournament, a national championship, all live on ESPN. Set the all-time American attendance record just this last December, over 17,000 people in Omaha, and it's a really exciting thing to be a part of. On the men's side in college volleyball, there are only about 20 Division I schools, only about 15 D2, and maybe about 50 D3. And those numbers are also very dramatically different in terms of the two-year level. Only about 13 or 14 teams in the whole in the whole country for men's volleyball, and thousands for women. So that's probably the biggest challenge we face. And yet, I guess that's the downside to it. The upside to it is we're standing here or sitting here in Orange County, the epicenter of men's volleyball, the home of the Olympic champions who just won a gold medal in Beijing and faced their own tremendous high and low at the same time as they went through that process of going on to beat Brazil and win the gold medal. But with the tiny numbers of men that there are in the game, those of us who are in the game love it even that much more and feel a real sense of camaraderie and of sticking together and working through some very adverse conditions. The men indoor team has now won a total of 3 gold medals, and they have a lot to be, all of us who've had any part to play in that have a tremendous amount to be proud of because of culling from those tiny numbers that come out from college and still going on to do great things in the Olympics. At the college level, Coach Speraw took over the UC Irvine program and led them to a national championship. They had never even really had that as a possibility before. So again, the epicenter of men's volleyball is sitting right here in Orange County, both with the Olympic team and with the college ranks, and in community college, Irvine Valley College coming off 2 straight now. State and what Shaq I think would call national titles, because all the teams are here in this state. But that's kind of the high and low of men's volleyball, and we face some real challenges, but I think it's a really exciting future that we look toward because of the dedication of people like the coaches that we have in this room, players who go through what they have to go through to try to play in all areas of the country, and everybody else behind the scenes. So I'm really honored and excited to be a part of an event like this to continue to help the growth of boys/men's volleyball, and will always do whatever I can to help. And all of us were really, I guess, girded for new battle after that Beijing gold medal that the men won against so many huge odds last summer in Beijing, and with the whole success of volleyball, both on the beach and indoors, it was and still is a really, really exciting time for volleyball, and particularly exciting for the men's side, where we look to try to spur more and more growth with a special event like this. So thank you very much for allowing me to be a part of it, and good luck to everybody.
Thank you, Karch. Our next speaker is Orange County's only Division I head coach in men's volleyball. John Speraw enters his 7th season as the head men's volleyball coach at UC Irvine, guiding the Anteaters to the postseason the last 3 seasons, including a national championship in 2007. With UCI's national championship, Speraw becomes only the 2nd person ever to have won a title as a head coach, assistant coach, and player. Along with the national championship in 2007, Speraw's team also won its first MPSF championship, ending the year with a #1 ranking and led the nation with a school record 29 wins. In 2006, after the Anteaters claimed their first ever regular season conference title, he was named AVCA, MPSF, and Volleyball Magazine Coach of the Year. The team had a school record 21 consecutive victories to end the regular season and held the #1 ranking for 8 consecutive weeks. John also had a somewhat interesting summer in 2008, spending part of it in Beijing as a member of the United States coaching staff that won the men's volleyball gold medal at the Olympic Games. Coach is also active in this community. In 2008, he received a Pillar Award, which showcases outstanding achievement in the ethical leadership at the 12th Annual Ethics in America Business Awards. Speraw is also named to OC Metro Business Magazine's annual list of the hottest 25 business people of Orange County. Speraw's other achievements are simply too lengthy to provide in great detail. 3 times U.S. National Team Junior Head Coach, World University Games and Pan Am Games coaching staffs, his UCLA assistant coaching tenure, and a decorated career as a middle blocker at his alma mater as well. The list is quite distinguished. Without further ado, from UC Irvine, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Speraw.
Somewhat interesting summer in Beijing is a good way to say that, Shaq. I appreciate it. The other night, as Karch mentioned, we had a battle up at Pepperdine University. And when we started the match, there was 2 players on the court who played right here at IVC for Coach Pestolesi. And I wanted to just let everyone here know how IVC and the whole JC community is impacting the Division I level, and the work that you guys are doing are helping our game tremendously across the board. So thank you very much for your work and for IVC for putting on this event. We lost the other night, but we were in a battle with perennial power. And I think really what we've been able to do over the last number of years, if we had actually won that match, we would have been ranked #1 this week. As it turned out, the poll, we still held the #2 ranking. Had we been #1, that would have been the 4th time over the last 7 years where we would have been ranked #1 in a regular season poll. And before 2003, the highest they'd ever been ranked had been #8 in any weekly poll in the history of the program. But really what that's about is UC Irvine trying to catch up to speed with what Orange County volleyball has been for a very, very long time. This has been a traditional power, and as Karch mentioned, the epicenter of boys and men's volleyball for maybe as long as USA volleyball has been a factor on the international level. Now that we have the national team here training in Anaheim, and corporations like ASICS, who is our sponsor and has been a tremendous supporter of men's volleyball, and specifically us at UC Irvine since I've been here, is right here in Orange County as well. This is just a wonderful place to coach and play the game of volleyball. I had the pleasure of being invited to breakfast last week with the Executive Vice Chancellor and Provost of UC Irvine, Michael Gottfredson. I had the opportunity to sit down there and listen to what he was talking about in terms of his own aspiration and his own goals for what men's volleyball could be at UC Irvine on a national level. There isn't another men's volleyball coach, and probably not another volleyball coach in the United States of America, that gets to sit down on a one-on-one level with the provost of any university to talk about what his mission is for the men's volleyball program. The support at UC Irvine and obviously across the board in Orange County for volleyball is tremendous. It is tremendous. Our team this year, as I've mentioned, is doing pretty well. I wanted to take a moment in this press event to talk a little bit about our team this season. We were preseason 5, 6, 7, not really sure. We weren't supposed to be #2, so I'm pretty happy with how things have gone so far. I mentioned Brian Simmons, his nickname. My assistant coach, Mark Prescio, has given him a nickname of Gene Simmons. if everything goes well. And if things go poorly, we call him Richard Simmons. So sometimes I stumble so much because I can't even remember what his real name is. He's been gened so much this year. He's the leading blocker in the United States of America right now and has done a tremendous job for us, trained right here at IVC. Really, the key for our success this season, the reason why we've been able to improve so much has been the play of our seniors. You always rely on your seniors, and ours have done a tremendous job this season, specifically with Ryan Ammerman and his development as a leader and setter for our team. Came from Colorado and probably didn't play a lot of high-level volleyball. He didn't have the opportunity to grow up here in Orange County and play high-level volleyball as a young boy. But he's developed later in his career and has become a tremendous setter. Fortunately for us, even though Ammerman has been great, he doesn't have to be great, he just has to be good because we have two seniors at each pin. One is John Steller. He was an All-American last year and has had a tremendous season so far this year. He's given us quite a bit of leadership and a lot of heat on the right side of the court. He's got a left-arm cannon, which has been great for us. And on the other side of the court, at outside hitter, we have Taylor Wilson. And he's been a tremendous asset for us. We've asked him to play 3 different positions throughout the course of his career, but he was a starter on our 2007 championship team at outside hitter, which is where he's at right now. We've also had some great leadership and great play out of Brent Asuka, and he's our libero. He's done a tremendous job, was an All-American his freshman year, and it continues to. He had a great night the other night versus Pepperdine, had 19 digs in our match versus Pepperdine, did a great job. And then who am I missing? I'm missing Nick Goldsboro-Reardon, who's also a senior and setter and transfer from Australia. He's done a really nice job for us as well. Our final senior is Nick Spittle. He does a great job coming off the bench. We've had a long history with the Spittle family. Paul Spittle was a great player for us. He's now graduated, but the final 2 Spittles are with us, and Nick is a senior. He is probably, in my biased opinion, the best serving sub off the bench in the MPSF, and we love it when he comes in and gives us a little spark, so he does a great job for us too. We have a pretty deep group of young men. We have a group of seniors, but we also have a number of sophomores and freshmen who are impacting this program, and it looks very, very good for us in the future. I think we could be, I actually thought before this year that we would be good this year and continue to get better as the years go by, and now that we're pretty good this year and maybe exceeding everyone's expectations, I feel very, very positive about the next couple of years. We have some guys who are redshirting this year, and we just signed a great freshman class to come in. So I think we're in a position to compete and win national championships and see if we can get to another Final Four or 2. And I think represent Orange County volleyball as best that we can and live up to the tradition that Orange County volleyball has been, and we hope to contribute in the future to what it will be. So thank you again to ASICS and IVC for supporting this, and I look forward to seeing you all out at the Bren Center in a future match. Thanks.
Thank you, Coach. Our next speaker represents the first of our community college coaches. Mike DAlessandro begins his 2nd season as head coach at Golden West College. This is his 2nd stint with the Rustlers, as Mike was the head men's coach at Golden West from 1995 to 1999. During those 5 years, he piloted Golden West to 4 consecutive state championships and was named State Coach of the Year 4 times, compiling a 5-year mark of 83-11. While at Golden West, he also served as an assistant coach for the women's program in 1995, helping lead the Rustlers to a 22-2 mark and the 1995 state championship. In 87-88, DAlessandro got his first taste of college coaching as an assistant coach at Orange Coast College. Mike has also coached the Division I level, including terms with UC Irvine's women's program and 2 conference titles in his 8 years with the Long Beach State men. Mike got his coaching start at the prep level. From 84 to 87, he was the assistant coach for both the boys and girls programs at Newport Harbor High School and was also an assistant coach for the boys from 85 to 86 at Edison. Mike's one of our own. He began his volleyball career in Orange County as an all-CIF setter at Huntington Beach High School. After initially enrolling at San Diego State, DAlessandro transferred to Long Beach State, where he was named an all-conference selection in 1981. DAlessandro was a member of the AVP Tour from 84 to 89, a 5-time USA Volleyball All-American, and a 3-time USA Volleyball National Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, one of Orange County's own from Golden West College, Mike DAlessandro.
Well, I just first of all want to say that I'm really honored and excited to be here tonight with all these volleyball greats from Orange County, and I think this cause that we are working on here, publicizing and hopefully growing our sport is something that we're all very concerned with, and I think events like this could definitely help to the growth of our sport, which is something that Karch showed he's very interested in helping do, and I know we all have been in the men's volleyball community for quite a while. I appreciate the introduction from my former high school classmate, Keith Shackleford, and I am fortunate to have been part of the Orange County volleyball community for longer than I'd like to admit. I also had the pleasure of going to high school and playing with Coach Pestolesi from Irvine Valley, and we've seen a lot of things happen in our time here in Orange County with men's and boys volleyball. And the growth has been good, but especially in the high school level. But at the collegiate level, we have ways to go, and I think that's one of the reasons we're all here tonight, is to hopefully try and get things going to where we can add some more men's programs in the collegiate levels, at the junior college level, as well as I know the Division I level could use it as well. I'm happy to represent Golden West College. This is my 7th year coaching there, and we have a real nice campus and what I like to think a pretty good junior college program going. We're excited about coming down here to play IVC Friday night in the conference opener, and then I think we're all going to go over and watch the Long Beach State and UC Irvine game after our match. And it just goes to prove again how exciting Orange County volleyball is and how much we do have going here. And like some of the previous coaches and speakers have said, this is the hotbed of volleyball in our country, and Orange County, along with the Los Angeles area, pretty much has been where all the best volleyball players have come from, on the men's side especially in the last 25, 30 years. And it's been a lot of fun being a part of that. Back to my program at Golden West, this year's team, we're 3-3 so far, kind of feeling our way a little bit and searching for a lineup, but we have, I think, what is a very talented group, and I think once we kind of get settled in our system and get everybody in the right places, I think we have a chance to compete hopefully for our conference championship with Irvine and Orange Coast, and also maybe compete a little bit after that towards the end of the season. So we're pretty excited about it. We have a great campus, and we're in a great town in Huntington Beach. My hometown, so I like to brag about it, but I don't think there's any city in Orange County that's better than Huntington Beach. It's a great spot to live and go to school, and I'm really happy to represent Golden West College and be a part of this event tonight. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike. We appreciate it. Our next head coach is the head coach at Irvine Valley College. Tom Pestolesi enters the 2009 season leading his squad in their attempt to defend back-to-back state and, thank you, Karch, national championships. Pesto began his volleyball career here in Orange County, as did Mike, as an all-CIF player at Huntington Beach High School. He then went on to star at Long Beach State and later the University of Hawaii, where Tom earned All-American honors in 1982 and 1983. Returning to Orange County, he then played as a member of the U.S. national team for a very short stint and has been named a USA Volleyball All-American 8 times as he continues to compete in the U.S. Nationals. Tom began 15 years of high school coaching at Estancia and Newport Harbor High. As a head coach and assistant, Coach Pesto was part of CIF championships in both the boys and girls sport and coached some of the game's biggest names, including AVP great and part-time IVC assistant coach for the women, Ms. Misty May. During this time, Pesto also coached the professional level, winning a championship on the 4-man beach tour. In 1991, Coach was hired to begin the men's program here at IVC. The college was rewarded with a state title in 1993, as well as the 2 most recent titles in 2007 and 2008. The Lasers have been to 4 consecutive Final Fours under Pestolesi, with 13 players receiving Division I scholarships in that span. I'd like to introduce your host for this evening's event from Irvine Valley College, Mr. Tom Pestolesi.
He's good. Thank you. My first thing I want to do is thank ASICS, Karch, John, and Dr. Keith Shackleford for putting this on. I don't think people realize how much work he does behind the scenes, and a lot of stuff that seems to go very smooth. There's a reason, because he's real good at what he does. So I want to thank Karch, Shaq, John, and Bill for ASICS, everybody helping out, putting this together. Getting back to Karch and Mike and I playing against him, I know that 6 of those 124 wins are against me, and then because one year I redshirted and he kept playing, and Mike probably has 8 of his wins against Karch. He didn't lose very much. So we don't feel too bad because we know that we lost to the greatest player of all time. So we can live with it, and it's really not a problem. But I just talking about our program at Irvine Valley. Obviously, the Orange County connection allows us to be very successful. We try to get the best kids from the area, and we've been fortunate to do that the last couple of years. Coaches that have done this for a long time know that you coach pretty much the same way every year, but depending on who plays for you, really kind of depends on how well you do. All the coaches that I see here, I appreciate it because these are guys that go to camps, go to clinics, are always trying to learn things and improve themselves to help their programs get better, and then that makes it easier for us as community college coaches because the kids have gotten better training at their high schools, and then when we get them, we don't have to teach them as much stuff, and we can just kind of get higher level things because there's more good players in the program. So I appreciate the coaches being here and improving yourselves to help your programs go better. But our main goal in this program at Irvine Valley is to get our kids to get a 4-year degree. We want them either 1 year or 2 years, and if we have them longer than that, then we're going to get rid of them because they got to move on. We want our kids to get in here, play a year or two, move on, get that degree. That's our absolute #1 goal because we know that this volleyball thing goes away real quick, and we want our kids to understand that it's super important that when you get finished playing and you have a piece of paper that allows you to go to this company or this corporation or this school and apply for jobs because they know you did the work and all the stuff that's involved with a degree, that makes us feel good. Then we know that we've helped these kids get a start, and that's what we want, #1 for our kids. We've been very lucky the last few years that those kids that are going on and getting their degrees have been really good players. And because of that, our teams have done well. And as coaches, we just haven't done a lot of stuff to get in the way. So our program, it's about getting our kids to get a degree. And we don't try to hold on to them. We really want to move those kids on. We have currently 7 players from our last 2 seasons are playing at Division I schools. We have Brian Simmons playing for John at UCI, Ted Slaughter's playing at UCLA, Rory Jones is at Long Beach State, Kaleo Baxter is at Cal State Northridge, Sean Grubbs, libero at Pepperdine. We also have 2 kids, Peter Johnson and Adam L. Rakabawi at UC San Diego. And that makes us feel good because our kids know that if they didn't come here first, they wouldn't be at those schools because they got better, they got to play, and they got re-recruited. And so it's a great option, the community college, for kids that maybe slip through the cracks. The kid has some potential, but he needs to play more, and he gets an opportunity at our level to showcase his skills and potentially move on to actually become a pretty good player at the Division I level. So our program here, this year, we're in the same boat as Mike. We're 3-3, trying to find our way. We've had some pretty good matches. We haven't finished some that we would have hoped to, but we're working on some things, and that's the beauty of our preseason with the way ours is set up. We can work on things and not have to worry so much about is it going to knock us out of the playoffs. But the key factors for us are a couple kids I'd like to mention. We have a Nick Costello, who's a libero from Hawaii, very good. Shaq calls him the freak, a little guy that can do some really amazing things, and he's fun to watch. But he's a key player for us, a team captain also. And then we have a middle blocker named Corey Brophy from Mission Viejo, a local kid. Again, that Orange County connection. And Corey's doing a real nice job, very aggressive, very physical, 6'7", and he does a real nice job blocking and getting up, and he does what you need from a middle blocker. He just goes hard the whole time. And so we appreciate that because sometimes kids don't like to go as hard as you want them to. And then we have a little kid, local kid from University High named Brandon Directo. He's only 5'9", but he has a legitimate 46-inch vertical jump. He's fun to watch. Can do some things where we kind of go, oh, wow, that was kind of neat. So we put in the community colleges, all the schools have a good product out there, and we do have, each school has a couple of kids that are a notch above others that have some special abilities. So it's a very good product. It's fun to watch. Like Mike said, we're going to have a battle this Friday, and I'm looking forward to it. It's just it's fun to compete, and we have a very good level of volleyball at the community colleges, and we would just like to see a few more people at our matches, and I think if we can get this out there and let people understand that it is a good product, that will help. But it's about getting our kids seen and moving them on. And then again, Friday, we just hope that UCI has one of those nights, because our son plays for Long Beach State. So thanks again for inviting us. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach. Our last speaker this evening begins his third year at Orange Coast. Let me try that again. Our last speaker this evening begins his third year at Orange Coast. Assistant Coach Scott Panero brings several years of club and prep volleyball coaching experience, from which head coach Travis Turner can draw. Panero is another local volleyball product. A disciple of Turner's, Panero played for Turner in 2000, earning a gold as part of the Junior Olympics in that season. Now coaching at his alma mater, Coach played for Orange Coast prior to attending UC Irvine and the University of Hawaii, earning a BA in International Studies. Prior to coming to Orange Coast, Panero spent 7 years with Balboa Bay Club's volleyball program, where he developed several former and current Orange Coast players prior to playing for the Pirates. In addition to his club coaching experience, Panero also sports 6 years coaching at the local high schools. Yet another in a long line of Orange County volleyball success stories from Orange Coast College. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Panero.
I want to start again by thanking Irvine Valley and ASICS and Keith for putting on tonight's event. I think it's a great opportunity for us to grow the sport of volleyball and get some exposure out there that we don't normally get. Again, I'd like to apologize to our head coach, Travis Turner, for not being able to make it tonight. He had a previous engagement that he wasn't able to switch his schedule for. Getting to our team on this season, starting with the off-season, we wanted to do things a little bit differently and get guys a little bit stronger in the weight room and do a little bit more conditioning. And I think now that we're getting into the part of our season, we're seeing the benefits from that. Just putting in a little bit of extra time at practice, 30 minutes in the weight room or some extra stadiums, whatever it is that day. That's one improvement that I think we've really made this past season. Currently, our record is 3-3, like the other schools have said. We've played in 2 tournaments. We took a 3rd place in the Long Beach City tournament. And last weekend, we got to go up to UC Davis and play in a club tournament up there, which was a really neat experience for us. Just get the guys hanging out a little bit more off the court and go on a fun road trip. That was a real good experience, and we took 5th place in that. This year's team's a little bit differently shaped than last year's team. As far as last year, we were heavily relied upon Kevin Welch, a conference MVP. This year, we've got a little bit more balance and depth to our program with a lot of guys that we can interchange in different spots, and we don't really lose or gain a whole lot depending upon who's out there. Getting to the positions of guys, setters this year, we've got 2 guys, a sophomore from Foothill High School, Doug Astor, who Doug served as our backup last year, and he's getting good opportunities this year and making the most of it, so really proud to see him taking advantage of that. And a freshman from Santa Margarita, Paul Leone, who's getting used to the speed of the game and the way guys play at this level, and he's just doing a nice job, and we're looking forward to him emerging as the season continues. At libero, we've got a group of freshmen led by Derek Martinez from Dos Pueblos High School. He's currently leading the team in digs with 36 and just does a real nice job controlling the ball and shoring up our serve receive. Pushing him for a starting spot is another freshman from Fountain Valley, David Parr. Dave comes in if he's not at the libero spot and does a lot of serving for us and plays defense in different spots and just does a real nice job on the court there. And another guy that gets time in the back row is John Perry from Capa Valley High School. He mainly comes in and serves and does a good job with that. Recently, when we went up to Santa Barbara, got a nice service run for us and sparked us to the victory there. At opposite hitter, we've got 2 guys that we're pretty lucky to have. Either one of them is capable of leading us in kills for the night. First is a sophomore from Orange Lutheran, Cullen Marr. He's a left-hander, probably the strongest guy we've got on our team. He played football at OLU and was part of their state championship football team, so he's kind of got that football mentality. But he's a real strong kid. He's currently hitting .429 on the year. Does a real nice job at the net and serving, and he's really working on his all-around game. Pushing him is Nick Kearney, a freshman from Dana Hills. Nick's one of our go-to guys. He's second on the team in kills right now with 51. We're looking for him to develop some consistency and just maintain himself throughout the whole season. Moving on, middle blockers, we're pretty fortunate. We've got a lot of good depth here. We're led by Ricky Schroeder, a sophomore out of Woodbridge High School. In 2007, Ricky was a first-team all-conference player for the conference, and then he redshirted for us last year. So we got him back playing this year, and he's doing a great job. He's currently hitting .688, which is absolutely tremendous. So we're very proud of him and what he's doing. Also, another third-year sophomore from Hawaii is Kaylee Bertelman. He's a guy that played opposite for us in 2007 and then redshirted last year. Now we've got him playing middle again. So that's what he's done through high school, and he's kind of working through the transition of getting back to a different position. He's doing a great job. At our Davis tournament, he started and played the whole time and really emerged there, and that was nice to see. An anchor for us is a sophomore, returning starter from last year, Mike Stewart from Woodbridge High School. He is a first-team all-conference player from last year, and we're really looking for big things for him right now. He's added a jump serve to his arsenal this year, and he's leading the team in aces and blocks. So he's just a nice player to have out there for us. Also, we've got Drew Wilson, a sophomore from Capo Valley, who'd been a setter throughout most of his career, and we kind of moved him to the middle this year and took a little bit of lumps adjusting, but he's now doing a really good job and kind of coming into his own. And last but not least at the middle blockers is a freshman from Woodbridge, Ryan Gonzalez. Ryan might be maybe the smallest middle blocker out there at 5'10", or so, but he makes up for it with his quickness and his technical soundness, and he's doing a real nice job. We're looking forward to big things from him in the future. Lastly, we've got our outside hitters, which is probably the position where we have the most depth. We've got 5 guys that can all play out there, and again, we don't lose or gain a whole lot depending upon who's out there. The guy in that position is Jake Malone. He's a third-year sophomore from Loera High School. He redshirted for us last year and actually played at Golden West in 2007. Jake's currently leading the team in kills with 68 and hitting a .336 clip. Another third-year sophomore is Grant Keene. Grant was a first-team all-conference player for us last year. He redshirted in 2007 and played football as well. Grant's a great leader for us. He's probably the most athletic guy on the team. Gets out there, he leads our warm-ups and is in charge of our weight room stuff and just does a real nice job with the guys on and off the court. And we've got a whole group of freshmen outside hitters. Start with Alex Reese from Santa Margarita. Reese is currently hitting .277 on the year. He's a real strong guy, likes to get after it in the weight room, and is real strong at the net, does a nice job of putting the ball away for us and working on his back row stuff right now, and he's getting a lot better. We also have Andrew Pavlovich from Santa Margarita, who is just a tremendous all-around player. Doesn't have a whole lot of weaknesses in his game. He's got a real good brain for it and gets out there and just kind of knows how to be in the right spot at the right time and how to help other guys do the same thing. And last but definitely not least is John Bungie from Chicago, Illinois. He's probably our best defender of the outside hitters and just brings great energy to us on the court, and he's very valuable in that regard, that when we're down a couple points or something, he can get everyone going again and keep them refocused. In addition to these guys, we've got about 11 or 10 other guys that are redshirting or gray shirting for various reasons that we're looking forward to big things in the future for them in the upcoming seasons. Also, just on a junior college note in general, I think it's a great opportunity for people to get out there and continue playing and get some of the best coaching that there is out there. So it's just a wonderful opportunity. There's tons of good coaches at that level, and people should take advantage of it. Thanks.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks to all of you again for joining us today in celebrating Orange County men's volleyball. We'd like to thank the coaches who brought yourselves today. We really appreciate the fact that you are as dedicated as you are to your sport. We'd like to thank the sports information directors and our friends in the media for making this day possible. The greater levels of exposure we can provide for men's volleyball, the higher quality those players will be, and the better the game will be at both the national and international levels. We'd also like to thank Vince Cooper and our friends at Irvine Valley College TV. And lastly, a very special thanks to our friends at ASICS and their continued support of men's volleyball. Be sure to join us here at Irvine Valley College the last weekend of April as we host the state championships for community college volleyball here in California. Hopefully we'll be part of that, but you can rest assured that Orange County volleyball will absolutely be part of that Final Four. Once again, please be sure to visit our websites for schedules, rosters, and more information, and be sure to join us at a gym near you sometime this season here in Orange County. Thanks again.